Hey, welcome back everyone. We are now in the final days of February of 2022 as we get closer and closer to the official release of the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series. A lot of Star Wars fans are also very excited about the marketing run of the Kenobi TV show, which by the way is going to begin in mid to late March of this year. That's really going to set everything up for Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen's return, both as Anakin / Vader and Kenobi himself once again. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, I am on Twitter at Mike01 if you guys want to go ahead and give me a follow on there. I do post a couple of entertaining things from time to time and really make sure to interact with you guys further. So what's even all the more exciting right now is that, yes, there are a lot of things happening between George Lucas, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni to really combine both Star Wars Legends and the existing Disney canon to really create a great balance for everybody, whether you're a new fan, a casual fan, or a hardcore Star Wars fan. That's what George, John, and Dave are trying to figure out by balancing things out with all of these new Star Wars TV shows that are set to arrive. Now, when it all dwindles down to Disney CEO Bob Chapek, we already know that he's got a lot of announcements on his plate that will arrive at Star Wars Celebration this year, which, by the way, takes place in May. As long as nothing gets canceled, they will hold that very big event that I've said this many times before, is that this is literally going to be the best celebration under Disney's wing, without a doubt, because of how many announcements they have and how significant the announcements are really going to be. It's really going to surprise a lot of people out there. So with that being said, however, what's even all the more exciting has everything to do with what Rosario Dawson recently had to say about actress Gina Carano as Cara Dune, and how this all ties directly into Lucasfilm as a company, and Kathleen Kennedy as the president of Lucasfilm, and how this also involves Gina Carano's firing, and how Rosario Dawson actually reveals her stance on all of this. So with both Disney and Lucasfilm now focused on developing the Ahsoka Tano series with Rosario Dawson, creators Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are getting ready to begin work on some of the other unannounced Star Wars TV shows for Disney+. However, in a recent interview, actress Rosario Dawson went on to talk more about her experience on the set of the Mandalorian series, and even all about actress Gina Carano as Cara Dune. Now, Rosario Dawson went on to state that the one thing that I believe myself and Carl Weathers could and always will agree on is that, one, of course, we had always an amazing cast for both Season 1 and 2, and there are even bigger and better things arriving for Season 3. We were shocked, just shocked, when we learned that Gina Carano was terminated from the series, and it really upset many of the cast and crew. But to make it worse, what I always realized is that there were always those associated with Lucasfilm. Visual artists, concept artists, whatever they were, they would always poke fun at Gina and literally kept trying to get her fired and off the show, believing that her character was weak and poorly written. The creators took everything over to Kathy and kept trying to come up with different reasons to fire Gina Carano time and time again. Many of those reasons, which I won't discuss in great detail, were very petty and really reaching to get her off the set. So let me just stop here for 1 second. Now, the thing that Rosario Dawson is ultimately revealing here is very near similar to what Gina Carano revealed in that big interview, I believe it was back in March of 2021, if I'm not mistaken, where she was on the Ben Shapiro show, where she talked more about Lucasfilm as a company and how there are other people associated with the company that were being treated just the same as Gina was. And this is a very interesting thing that Rosario Dawson actually brought up, is how there were a lot of attempts to actually get Gina Carano off the set, not just because of her personal life, but also because of the character's design and the overall character, development of Cara Dune, and how a lot of creators felt that she was a very weak and very poorly written character. And to me, obviously, some of the creators have no say in that, but these creators were really trying to find ways to get Gina off the set for multiple reasons just like that. And it just goes to show you how Lucasfilm, at the end of the day, at least used to, or maybe even still does, act like this. Very much like high school drama, middle school drama, talking behind people's backs constantly. I mean, yes, I get it, it's work at the end of the day, and Rosario Dawson's going to tap into that in just a second, but also, they're adults, they have to behave, they have to actually act their age, in my book, and they just have to do what they gotta do. So moving on, what she went on to actually state is that, and it's something that Kathleen oddly agreed with. She goes on to say that, listen, I get along with everybody, but if you don't like somebody, just keep it to yourself. That's how I see it. This is work, and we are devoted to our job to make fans happy, to make an audience happy, and there is no time for low-level drama like this. Even after Gina was let go, when I was working on the Book of Boba for one of the episodes, this must have been way back in the fall of 2021, probably around November. There were creators clapping that Gina was not on set and making jokes about how fun it would be to have her on set just to have some form of entertainment. I mean, it was really childlike behavior, and again, I'm not going to name names. I will leave everything at that. Aside from that, Dawson stated that this, of course, alludes to many members of the crew and some of the cast that had issues with Gina based on her beliefs and based on her character design. So, we talked about this a couple of months ago, that there were a lot of creators over at Lucasfilm, visual artists, concept artists, that had a lot of problems with Gina Carano's character, Cara Dune. They also didn't like Gina personally for obvious reasons, which we already are very well aware about, but they also had a lot of problems with the character itself, and they kept trying and trying to get that character off of Mando Season 1 and even Mando Season 2 at the time. And they ultimately got their wish with Mando Season 3. She's not coming back for Season 3. However, now Disney is actually turning around, and they are actually fully working on Gina Carano's return for The Mandalorian Season 4 in 2023. So keep your eyes open for that. Moving on. Now, in the beginning, Jon and Dave Filoni had actually tried to get Gina Carano back on board for Boba, as they felt it would be a great opportunity for Gina to play Cara Dune with Rosario as Ahsoka Tano. However, this was refused by Disney some time ago. Now Disney is in a position of working on Gina's return for The Mandalorian Season 4. What Dawson said also alludes to how on the set of the Book of Boba, some of the employees favor Kathleen Kennedy and were constantly making jokes about Gina's firing on the set. Similar behavior to how Freddie Prinze Jr. thought it was funny and hilarious how Gina got fired from Mando of what he wrote on Twitter. So again, I think that Freddie Prinze Jr. is a prime example of how many of those associated with Lucasfilm act and how they've reacted to Gina Carano's firing. Hey, if you love her or hate her, that's fine, that's perfectly fine, but if one's gonna act like a child, if one's gonna act so immature like that, they shouldn't be with the company. I don't understand why even Freddie Prinze Jr. was able to keep his job after saying something like that on Twitter, let alone that. But anyways, I digress, guys. The thing about all of this also is the fact that they did have a big attempt, both Jon and Dave, to get Gina back for the Book of Boba Fett. And you can see how they were slowly trying to bring back all of the Mandalorian characters, at least some of which, were Din Djarin, Grogu, Ahsoka Tano. They were really trying to bring a lot of those characters back into fruition. And I think that at the end of the day, they really could have pulled it off if they kept pushing, because now they're already getting what they want with Mando Season 4 with Cara Dune. I feel that if Jon and Dave stuck with their guns, they could have really got her back for Book of Boba if they really worked very hard and extra hard with the Disney higher-ups. So overall, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.